The Galactic Hub's marketplace buzzed with 1,000 different species, each more exotic than the last. Neon signs flickered in languages that bent light itself, and the air hummed with translation devices working overtime. Faraz wiped grease from his hands onto his already stained coveralls, taking a break from fixing yet another malfunctioning hyperdrive in his cramped repair shop. That's when he saw her. She stood at the entrance of the premium provisions store, scales shimmering like molten copper in the artificial sunlight. A Draconian, one of the ancient warrior races that had ruled half the galaxy before humans even discovered fire. Her wings were folded tight against her back, and her tail curled around her feet in what Feroz had learned was a posture of shame. The Zentari shopkeeper, a blob of purple protoplasm in a containment suit, was gesticulating wildly with its pseudopods. No credit, no food. Draconians are high-risk customers. Your people's empire fell 3 centuries ago. You don't even have a planetary government anymore. Bella's golden eyes flickered with something between rage and despair. Her clawed hand clutched a nearly empty credit chip. I have 40 credits. I just need basic protein rations for the week. Minimum purchase is 100 credits, the Zentari burbled smugly. Premium customers only. Perhaps try the charity dispensers in Sector 7. Feroz had heard enough. Humans might be the newest species to join the galactic community, barely 100 years since first contact. But he'd learned quickly how the game was played. The old empires looked down on everyone, especially those who'd fallen from grace. And the newer merchant classes? They only cared about profit. He crossed the plaza in quick strides, his boots echoing on the metal grating. Hey, Bella, right? Sorry I'm late. The Draconian woman turned, confusion evident in the tilt of her elegant head. Her nostrils flared slightly, probably detecting his obvious lie through pheromones or whatever biological sensors her species possessed. Faraz smiled easily, the same smile that had gotten him out of bar fights and into lucrative repair contracts. You remember me, Faraz? From the Engineering Guild meeting last month? He turned to the shopkeeper. She's with me. Put whatever she needs on my account. The Zentari's surface rippled with irritation. Human accounts are acceptable, but great. She'll take what she needs. Faraz gestured toward the store, then leaned close to Bella, dropping his voice to a whisper. Come with me. I'll fill your table properly. Just play along. For a moment, Bella's eyes narrowed, pride and suspicion warring across her reptilian features. Then slowly she nodded. Inside the store, Feroz grabbed a cart and started loading it with practiced efficiency. Not the synthetic protein paste that most species subsisted on, but real food. Terran beef grown in orbital farms, fresh vegetables from the hydroponics bays, spices from a dozen different worlds. This is too much, Bella hissed, her voice like silk over stone. I cannot repay. Don't worry about it, Feroz interrupted, tossing in a container of coffee beans. Consider it an investment. An investment in what? In not being a complete asshole. He grinned at her startled expression. Look, I've been here for 5 years. I know how it works. You're Draconian, which means you're probably an engineer or a fighter pilot, right? Your people built half the jump gate network we all use. Bella's scales rippled with surprise. I am a quantum field specialist. But my certifications are not recognized anymore. The guild says they're outdated. Bullshit, Feroz said bluntly, loading more items. They say that because they can charge you triple to recertify what you already know. It's a scam. He paused at the meat section. You eat meat, right? I don't want to be culturally insensitive here. Despite herself, Bella let out a sound that might have been a laugh. Yes, we eat meat. Good, because humans are great at growing it, apparently. Some kind of spite farming after the Zentari called us protein-obsessed barbarians. He loaded several containers into the cart. Now we export it at a loss just to annoy them. They checked out with Feroz's account, the Zentari processing the transaction with obvious disdain. Outside, Feroz helped Bella carry the bags toward the residential sectors. Why are you doing this? Bella asked finally, her voice soft. We are strangers, Feroz shrugged. On Earth we've got this saying, there but for the grace of God go I. Means we're all one bad break away from being in your shoes. He glanced at her clawed feet. Or you know your situation. Your species is strange, Bella observed, but her tone had warmed. The council says humans are irrational, that you make decisions based on emotion rather than logic. Yeah, well, the council are a bunch of bureaucratic parasites who've never done a real day's work in their lives. Feroz stopped at an intersection. Which sector are you in? Sector 9, the low-rent district. Same as me, he grinned. Come on, my place is closer. You can store this stuff in my refrigerator, and I'll help you carry it home later. Plus, I was about to make dinner anyway. You ever had human curry? Bella's scales shimmered with uncertainty. I do not understand. What do you want from me? Feroz met her golden eyes steadily. Honestly, I could use a quantum field specialist. I've got 3 jump drives in my shop that I can't diagnose because they're singing in mathematics I barely understand. If you're willing to consult, I'll pay you proper guild rates. The real ones, not the exploitative crap they charge now. Understanding dawned in Bella's expression. You would hire me? On contract, yeah. I'll even help you get recertified if you want. Though between you and me, I think it's unnecessary. He shifted the bags in his arms. But first, dinner. Because dignity shouldn't be optional, and nobody should have to beg at charity dispensers when they're skilled enough to design the stations we're standing on. Bella stood silent for a long moment, her tail unwinding slightly from its tight curl. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of generations. My grandmother once told me that the measure of a civilization is not in its technology, but in its compassion. I did not believe her. I thought power was all that mattered. And now? Feroz asked gently. Now I think perhaps your irrational species understands something the rest of us forgot. She reached out, and her clawed hand gently touched his shoulder in what he recognized as a draconian gesture of respect. Thank you, Feroz of Earth. I accept your offer. All of it. As they walked together toward the residential sector, Feroz couldn't help but smile. The galaxy might be ancient and vast, but humanity had brought something new to it. The simple, stubborn belief that everyone deserved a seat at the table. Even dragon ladies denied by prejudiced shopkeepers. Especially them.